Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Make Our World Your Runway. We are on location today, and we're going to be circling the globe over to England. But as always, we have a few announcements that we like to make our viewers aware of. And we want to tell you to remember to subscribe to the Global Trade Chamber YouTube channel so you can view Make Our World Your Runway and the many GTC success stories. And the 100 Successful Women in Business book is available at Amazon and Target. And as always, I tell you, I highly recommend all of you to pick up a copy of this book. It is absolutely amazing. The stories that you're going to read of the accomplishments of many women around the world is just fantastic. So do not hesitate. Get your copy today. And also watch out for our announcements when we have volume 3 coming out, because you may just want to get in that book and tell your stories. It is absolutely wonderful. And available every Monday, the Global Trade Chamber magazine. There's also some fabulous stories in there about businesses, women from around the world. It's excellent. I highly recommend that you definitely look at that magazine as well. And July 31st is the last day to register for the big event that is coming to London, England, August 24th to the 28th, 100 Successful Women in Business. Women from around the world are going to be welcome to that event and also honored for their accomplishments in community service and business. So July 31st is the last day that you can register to go to the event. And if you can't get to the event and you want to be in the book, and I believe July 31st is also the last day to register for there, please go to www.100swb.com. Read all the information on London, England. We do have a book called 100 Successful Women in Business. Again, that book is absolutely excellent. I just told you before to pick up a copy. This is now volume 2, and it's actually called The 100 Most Successful Women in Business. So once again, our big event, London, England, August 24th to the 28th. We will be going live. I will be there. We're going to be doing an amazing fashion show with international designers. It's one event you do not want to miss. I highly recommend, if you have the means to attend, join us there. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we bring on my guest, I'd like to read a little bit about her. She's absolutely amazing, okay? And if I'm pronouncing her name correctly, Shubhangi is an Indian and a UK qualified lawyer. She's also a solicitor. She holds a dual practicing certificate under the Supreme Court of India and Law Society of England and Wales. She's also a managing partner and director of Chess Solicitors in UK, featured in 99 Influential Women of India 2021 edition, Beautiful Survivor Award, Ambassador for Peace by UN affiliated organization in UK. She is also a PTSD cancer survivor. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, you're going to love her story. She has amazing accomplishments, and I'm so honored to have her on Make Our World Your Runway. And I'm going to have her pronounce her name, but if I'm saying it correctly, Shubhangi, please welcome to Make Our World Your Runway.
Thank
Hi,
you.
dear. How are you?
Hi, hello from India. Thank you so much for this wonderful introduction, Angela. Truly honored to be here on the platform. And yes, you have pronounced my name halfway right. It's Shubhangi, but indeed,
Shubhangi. Okay.
it's good. Thank you so much.
I know it's like my last name, Posillico. Everybody looks and goes, scratches their head and says, wait a minute, how do I pronounce it? And I get all different versions of it. I tell people, you know what? Well, however you say it is fine with me because it's not an easy name. But
Yeah.
I am so impressed with all of your accomplishments. I had no idea that you were a qualified lawyer. My God, that's an accomplishment in itself.
Thank you. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
What made you get a law degree? Because I'm recently been talking to one of a major attorney here. I live in Florida, but I live in Palm Beach County, and we have an amazing attorney for the county, Dave Arenberg, and I have been talking to him because I used to work in the courts as a court reporter, and a lot of things are coming back to me. But what made you decide to get a law degree? I think that's fascinating.
Well, thank you so much for the question, Angela. So basically, I was born and brought up in Maharashtra, India, to a very middle class and orthodox family. And from the age of 16, I started working and supporting my undergraduate studies. Now, my parents thought I might become a doctor or an engineer because it's a very prestigious profession and a platform for women. But I knew my abilities, and my dad always told me that knowledge is a power and you should be educated and financially independent. From my childhood, I have been participating in a lot of debate competitions, and I always look at life with correct perspectives, finding logic in all aspects of my surrounding from my childhood. And that's when I decided to go for my law studies. And I just studied law from India, but when I came to England, as I said, education was my passport, and I worked initially for a few financial organizations because we had to survive. We have no godfathers or godmothers in United Kingdom, but having that law for passion made me study my further degree in a solicitor's course, which I did in the evening colleges, and also I did my corporate finance from law business school. And when I was at peak of my career, my passion for law made me leave my full-time job in central London, a very prestigious one. And I was so determined to be a practicing solicitor that I knocked many, many doors. And that's when a small high street firm took me as an unpaid intern. But my passion was so, I was so determined. Come what may, I had to do that. Within 2 years of my life, after in the same firm, from an unpaid intern, I became a partner in that law firm. And thus, a dream of becoming a woman entrepreneur. Why did I continue in the law profession? Is because while I was dealing with the immigration cases, I also came across a lot of women and children who were asylum, and these were asylum cases and the refugee cases from
Yes.
very sensitive parts of the world. And my law knowledge or my compassion in settling them gave me that humanitarian side. And that's when I got into, along with full-fledged practice, into some kind of a charity work. So that is in nutshell about my law passion and profession.
And that is amazing. And I'll tell you why that is such a fascinating story is because we're going through something here in the States right now with immigration, asylum. And if you know anything about our southern borders, which are
Hmm.
around Texas and the southern states, and people coming from the Latin countries and
Yeah.
walking down that dark path and trying to get into this country just to have, because they feel it's a better life. The law is very tricky. And
Hmm.
that's one of the things that I have been looking at myself and working in the court systems as a court reporter.
Yeah.
You just mentioned that about asylum. That's something that kind of hits me
Hmm.
because there are so many women and children and families that have been separated because of the laws. I don't know what it is, but it just seems the laws when it comes to immigration, I don't know if they're not written right or it's just, but it seems to be very confusing. So I
Yeah.
applaud you for getting involved with that. And that happens to be a passion of mine. And I've got a lot of dear friends that have been deported, that are trying to get back, that are separated from their families. And a lot of times, even our congressmen and congresswomen, there isn't much that they can do about it. So there's a lot of legalities. Some people have become successful and have been able to be reunited with their families. But I applaud you for taking that step. That is fantastic. And especially being a woman, that's absolutely amazing. So
Thank
you've done a great job. Now you're number one in my book.
you. Thank you so much,
But
Angela.
oh, no, you're quite welcome. And you are a great ambassador just by doing what you're doing. That happens to be amazing. Now, another thing, and I know that it was probably devastating, but you are a cancer survivor. And to look at you, you'd never know it because you're absolutely stunning. And I'm a heart attack survivor. Okay.
Oh my
And
goodness.
it's not easy to come back from illnesses like that. I know
Hmm.
it took me a long time to, even though my surgery was successful, it took me a long time to get back on my feet. I did not want to put my right foot and my left foot even forward. And then all of a sudden, one day, something clicked in my mind and said, you know what? You're still here and you've got to go on. So you better pull up from those bootstraps and keep going. And now it's like it's all in the past. But tell us
Yes,
about that, because that, I mean, mine was, like I say, with the heart, they can do wonderful things, but cancer, it's still out there. So tell us about that battle you had, because that's another amazing story.
of course. So when I was at peak of my career, celebrating my life as an entrepreneur and a successful lawyer in the prime location of Oxford Street in London, and then I used to do all the hard work, and I used to come to party in India, and I thought, well, life is in my control. But life always has a plan, and I always believe in serendipities. Life takes you on top and suddenly throws you from cliff. And at peak of my career, I met
Right.
with an accident which left me partially paralytic. I mean, stammering, cut off from the world, and was thrown in deep dark mental health battle. And this was the start. I was hallucinating. People thought I'm possessed. In India, it's some parts of the, you know, parts of the states, they feel like that. The wrong diagnosis from a very renowned doctor. He said, he declared me I'm a schizophrenic and I cannot stay with my parents. And that's why in the same city, 15 miles away, I was closed behind the doors on my own. And because of the wrong treatment and my weak immune system, a very different kind of a tropical bug attacked on my body, and the wound started spreading all over. And I thought, what is it? I mean, why am I going through all of this? This was really painful, like cut off from the world, and I did not know where should I go. And I thought I will end my life, but then I could not, because I thought something must be happening. There might be some purpose, and I trusted in the universe. And trust me, to cut this story short, it took me 4 painful skin grafting surgeries. I have a metal plates in my neck, and let me show you, man, I'm not afraid of showing my scars. So these are my cancer scars, if you can see. I don't know,
I
but
can
these
see
are
it.
all over my body. And after those painful surgeries, life welcomed me back with its open arms, and my perspective of life changed henceforth, and I chose people over profit. After my PTSD and cancer, honestly speaking, I realized one thing, that I was not a victim of my mental health or the cancer battle. I was a victim of this society, who labeled me insane, who thought I'm done, I cannot do anything. There were hardly very few people, on my list who could I look up to. I did not have any role model to look around, so I became my own role model. And this PTSD and cancer survival story became a bit popular on some of the platform when I was spreading an awareness on my mental health. And then United Kingdom decided to select me as their brand ambassador, raising an awareness on mental health. And I participated in one international pageant for Mrs. Classic Universe, and I represented United Kingdom as a Mrs. United Kingdom Classic Universe last year in Estonia, and I'm proud to tell you that I was a second runner up. Then
Fabulous.
from this point, everything took a turn, and I realized the purpose of my life. Because before my these deep darkest battle, I was just playing a mere role of a lawyer and an entrepreneur. But then afterwards, everything changed. I became a voice for voiceless, and from that moment onwards, many national and international awards started receiving. And then I was working for lots and lots of charities, and I thought, okay, let's put lot of things together and start one platform where I can work on my mission and a vision. I will come back to my charity work later, but this is what my cancer and my PTSD story. I mean, people call me a queen, pageant queen, but I call myself a scarred queen. And trust me, I think my these scars talk about my battles that I fought and won, and these are my medals of honor. And I truly
Yes.
want to show the world that scars can be beautiful.
Yes, they can. I mean, I still have the scar here. Oh my God, you just blew me away. That was a total amazing story. And you know, it's so funny because we have a lot in common.
Yes.
I had a very bad fall going back, I would say, in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
And I broke my hip and my femur bone.
Oh
Now,
my
they were
God.
able to, before they could do a hip replacement, they had to repair the femur bone.
Mm-hmm.
And I was paralyzed pretty much
Oh
for
wow.
about 3.5 years. I was 3.5 inches gated. And I thought I was never going to really walk correctly again. And I met a wonderful surgeon who was also a neurosurgeon besides being an orthopedic surgeon. He did a full hip replacement on me.
Oh my God.
And I don't know if God was sitting on my shoulder or what it was. But the day he replaced that hip, I was able to put 2 feet on the ground.
Oh my
I
goodness.
had a
Yes.
walker for maybe 5 days, a cane for 5 days, and the rest was history. And you know what I did before I went in that operation? In my hospital room, I put up a picture of a pair of high heels. And that was my goal. I said, I'm going to get back in a 4 or 5 inch heel if it kills me. And when I came out of that surgery, because my mind was so determined, and like you said about scars, I have a little bit of a scar, but you know what? I don't care because that is my, okay, how can I say it? Not maybe like my answer to the world to show people that you could be scarred, but you can get right back up and do something. And like I said, now today, if I was to get up and walk, you'd look at me and say, "You had a full hip operation? You must be crazy. You must be insane." But I can
Wow.
walk as perfect as anybody else, just like the day I was born. So you are 100% correct. We can go through life. And like you said, you're not afraid to show your scars because this is what makes us who we are. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is what gives us strength. Okay. Which pushes us forward. And just the fact that you were second runner up, okay, in a beauty pageant, that is an inspiring story itself because it shows women of all ages what you can do. Okay. And like you said, one day you're here and then all of a sudden life is going to throw you there.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I look at it is okay, I'm in this situation now. Where could I be 5 minutes from now? Where could I be an hour from now? Where am I going to be a day from now? So I take each moment as it comes, but I have learned, and just like you said, to work through it. And last night I was talking to my Miss International World, who happens to be from India. She's Dr. Akshata Prabhu.
Mm-hmm.
I showed her your bio. She thought you were amazing. And she said, Angela, if she ever wants to come into the pageant this year or next year, I'd be more than happy to work with her.
Bless
She
you.
she just loved you. She said you are amazing. And she also has an inspiring story because she always wanted to go to pageantry and modeling, and she made a deal with her father. Her father says, I'm not paying for anything until you go to college and get a degree. And she did. She became a dentist. Okay.
Wow.
And when that happened, he financed her into her first modeling school. So,
Wonderful.
yeah, it's absolutely amazing. And, you know, I have to say, I admire the women from India. I work with a lot of different cultures, but having an international pageant. And I'm not saying this because of Akshata and because of yourself, but I find the women of India are so full of life. Their stories are amazing. Okay. Um, Another woman from India, Dr. Florence Nalini, who's actually coming into our pageant this year, had COVID 3 weeks before she entered the pageant in India.
Oh
She
my God.
battled COVID, she got there, and she won. And I was just, and then her daughter got it. Her daughter battled it. Her daughter went on to college. And I just find since the time of Indira Gandhi to now, you women have been absolutely amazing. So I just find that your culture, your stories, you really are ambassadors of the world because the things you've gone through and how you've conquered it and yourself. So as they always say to me like this, you're absolutely amazing. So I thank you for telling me all of this, and our viewers will be hearing this because it's so inspirational. You know what? Now you making me want to go back tap dancing again.
God bless you. And you will be one day. Trust me.
Oh yeah, I mean I've gotten myself pretty much back into shape. I mean I've been back to the gym. I mean I can do a lot of my jazz dancing. Now I just have to get my feet back in shape so I can tap dance. I think my hip is ready for it now because it's been 5 years since I've had that operation. So now I think I'm kind of raring to go. But you also, if I'm reading, you run a foundation, MRFA Foundation, which is
Mhm.
working on different social causes.
True. True.
Okay.
So, Angela, first and foremost, before I begin about my MRFA, I would like to tell you the day you are gonna hit the dance floor, you will find me in that dancing room. I'm
All
gonna
right.
watch and I'm gonna dance with you. So,
Oh,
coming
I
back
love it.
to
I
the
love it.
and coming back to your that question, so basically, this life which I now have got it, I call it a born, died, and reborn in the same life. It is a reincarnated life, you know. And ending says you are given another chance to make a new beginning, and every story has an end. But in my life, every ending is a new beginning. And as I said, prior to my illness, I was playing just that couple of roles. And my illness made me understand when I is replaced with we, even the illness becomes a wellness. So I thought that was my mission, that my vision. Then I understood my why and I understood my purpose. And this MRFA Foundation means my rising from ashes. Literally, the motivation behind is a bird phoenix, and I decided that I have gone through it, being educated, being a solicitor, being from England and India, the metros, I could not deal with it. And I now and then see many people end up their lives. Why? Because there is a huge gap in the society, and I need to, I want to be the bridge. That's why I have started raising an awareness through my campaign, Stop Stigma, Break the Silence. And what is my mission behind this? Is basically I want to take this foundation on the new heights through international collaboration, creating a collaborative network, and working in different causes. But the main cause is mental health awareness. And in nutshell, the motto of my MRFA is educating the society about mental health, elevating the mindfulness, and saving as many as beautiful souls, leading towards the suicides. The one
Right.
important thing is that I'm spreading an awareness on is we always call our body is a temple, but our mind and a brain, they are the gods. We just keep our temple clean and beautiful. But do we ever look after our mental health, our mind and our body? And that is what exactly I'm doing my work. And it is just a baby right now, but I'm sure it is gonna spread in next few years down the line. And hopefully we will save as many as lives are possible.
Exactly. And you said you kind of hit the nail on the head there when you talked about mental illness. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if you watch the news, and of course the news does go international, we've had a lot of gun violence and a lot of shootings here in the States.
True,
And one
true.
of the things that they are discovering is mental
Mhm.
health issues. And I
Yeah.
don't think that was ever made a priority, even in schools, because nobody wanted to talk about mental health. And you know what I say? It's nothing to be embarrassed about, because
Mm-hmm.
again, it is a condition, like somebody suffering from diabetes, or somebody, going through surgery. That is a condition. Uh,
Yeah.
are we born with it? We don't know. Is there a crisis that could have happened in your life that caused mental health? So that is something that even our Congress is looking at, to
Mm-hmm.
try to pass laws where we've got more information. We are more aware of mental health.
True.
Because, again, something in life could actually bring you down. Some of us have very strong minds, like you do,
Yeah.
I do. We could be hit with something and we're going to get back up on our feet and we're going to make the best of it. But there's a lot
True.
of people that cannot do that. Okay.
Absolutely.
They, if someone is suffering from cancer, or someone like me that had a heart condition, you don't know mentally how they're going to come out of that. And that can destroy someone. And,
Exactly.
I always say this, and I've learned two things. And I get involved with a little bit of politics in my own country. But I have a saying, I go, find common ground. We have to learn how to get along with one another. And just because I may disagree with someone does not mean that they're my enemy. Okay. That's the problem. And especially in this country. Oh, you disagree with someone? Well, let me get the gun out and shoot you. That's not the way to go. Okay.
True.
No two people are alike. No two people think alike. And we're not always going to agree. But like I said, it doesn't mean that you're my enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing I believe in is what we do in life is going to echo in eternity. Okay.
Yes.
And those words were very well spoken by the actor Russell Crowe when he made the movie Gladiator. And
Yeah.
I always remember that. And even my own President Kennedy, when he said in the final analysis, we all inhabit this small planet, we all breathe
Mm-hmm.
the same air, we all cherish our children's future, and we are all mortal. These are great words from great people. And I think if
Exactly.
more and more people like yourself, okay, that are doing things, okay, to create awareness for others, I think we could bring the world back to be one of the most beautiful places to live, okay?
Yeah.
Because we're
Of
only
course.
here for a certain amount of time, okay? And you are making a legacy, okay? You
True.
definitely, your stories, you're creating your own legacy. And if they build a monument or a statue to you, I'll be right there because you certainly deserve it. You've done so many things and combated so many things. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. And when you say you're going to be there when I dance, you're definitely going to be there. Whether it's by Zoom or whether it's in person, you will be there
Of course,
because
Angela.
I'm about ready to make my big debut again. So,
Of course.
but with all the things that you've done, okay, and I know you're going to continue to do, what are some of your future plans? Where do you see yourself going with your foundation, and what's your
Of
next steps?
Of course. See, basically, I forgot to mention one more small incident when I was going through this mental health battle. It killed me more because of the wrong diagnosis by a very renowned neurologist from my city, Pune, in India. He was also my family doctor. He labeled me as a schizophrenic, and he told me, you cannot practice anymore because you are someone, you have to be sane through the mind. To remove that scar and the taboo from my head, I visited multiple doctors just collecting the certificate, and you will not believe to my surprise, except that doctor, rest of the doctors told me I'm not a schizophrenic. I was getting hallucinated because of the accident that had damaged my, the spine. So,
Right.
moral of the story, the future plans also include having the professionals on the board. We already have psychiatrists who have been practicing in England and even in India on a larger level. We have life coaches. We have started going to colleges now we have started in India. We conduct Zoom sessions. We are making sure from the age of 16 to 22 to 24, we make them understand the benefit and the importance of mental health before they get into the corporate worlds. This is the future plan, to reach out to as many as people possible, online, offline. I'm also doing a lot of TEDx talks right now because that is another platform to reach out. I'm just spreading an awareness on that one. Another secret plan is because I have participated in pageantry, I have
Yes.
understood the importance of this platform. How powerful is this platform? How powerful queens. These come from all over the world with such amazing stories and the transformation. But I also found out some of the queens who want to go ahead. It's expensive business, the pageantry
Yes.
coaching and grooming. So couple of my queen sisters who have already participated in Mrs. Universe and Mrs. International in America, we are going to start one pageantry coaching where we will be grooming our queen sisters who need the help, not to profit one. And if at all someone is worthy, it might be even free of cost. So talk is going on. These are my future plans. But most importantly, trust me, Angela, when you said about the legacy, I want to my I want my life to be successful in two ways. I want to count my blessings, and I feel proud and successful only when someone says, Shubhangi, you're my role model. Or because of you, I have stopped giving my life away. And thank you for saving my life.
Right.
And the success for me after my death would be when I leave 50 million tears behind me, remembering my legacy, and not $50 million in my account. That is all I call my life to be successful, and that is what my future plan is, Angela.
And that's absolutely beautiful. And I say the same thing to people. I said, you know what? It's not about money. It's about what
Yeah,
I'm doing, okay? And how I can empower others. And I always have a saying, it's not about me. My pageant girls will tell you that. It's not about me. I say it's about them,
yeah.
because I'm here to empower them. I'm here to open the door to give them opportunities so that they can go forward, and they can, maybe they can encounter some of the things in life that I never had a chance to do.
Mhm.
Okay. And I tell them, learn from some of my experiences, learn from some of the hardships that I have, because I said, look, and you're right, pageantry, it can be very expensive business. I mean, there's so many facets to it. And of
Yeah.
course, Dr. Rakshata, she does a lot of training as well too. Okay. And
Mhm.
that's what I applaud about the women in pageantry in India. There's, when they come into the other pageants, like mine, Miss International World, or Miss Universe, or Miss World, they are so well trained. Okay. I
Yeah.
mean, look at the girl that just won Miss Universe, okay, from India. I think it was like 22 or 23 years. Okay. And following the Miss Universe pageant, 2 months later, we had ours last August. And here comes Akshata from India winning Miss International World. So we've
Wow.
got two girls in India right now holding two major titles. And we've gotten a lot of press over that. But it's
Mhm.
been absolutely amazing. It has been my honor to have a woman from India in our main title, because she's just like you. I mean, amazing. And she says the same thing. I want my legacy to be how I inspired others, how I inspired women. Okay. And she's a mom and an entrepreneur, and uh, also has an organization called the International Glamour Project, where she does her
Mhm.
training. So I mean, the both, I mean, I can't wait for the both of you to hook up, because that is going to be what they call the dynamic duo. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, you'll both be great. But I mean, especially the last couple of years when we battled COVID. I mean, you seem to have, like myself, have, kept out there. So, how did you feel about all these lockdowns?
well, lockdown was a blessing for nature.
Yeah.
The nature survived, but it was definitely a curse for the humankind. As I told you, like I am a founder of my charity, and I received hundreds of call every day from all parts of the world. Some was struggling for oxygen cylinder in India. You know, you must have heard the mishap that happened due to oxygen cylinders, and then the
Yes.
remdesivirs, and it was really heartbreaking. And even in the United Kingdom, I came across a lot of women and children who suffered through domestic abuse because of they were stuck with the partners. So it was
Right.
really, really chaotic. And God's grace, we found the vaccine, and then we are coming out of it slowly. Damage is done, but this is
Yes.
what showed, we humans, when we come collectively, we can beat any of the nature's battle. This was just one example.
Perfect. I was listening to something the other day. Our president made a speech, and he did say those exact words. He said, if we all come together, we can
Hmm.
combat anything. Okay. There's an
Yeah.
old saying, united we stand, divided we fall. Okay.
Yes.
And I'm a big believer in that. Yes,
Yeah.
COVID, we needed the lockdowns because it was, in a way, it was good for people. We were, at that time, there was no vaccines, there was no antibiotics, no nothing. Okay. And it's a
Hmm.
shame on how many, this thing went global, it went worldwide, and how many
Yeah.
millions of people we lost. Okay. Uh, Luckily here, and even in the States, I mean, we've lost over, I mean, it
Yeah.
was at one time it was 500,000. I think we've lost over a million here in the States. I mean, we have one cemetery in Washington, D.C. It's just all people buried there from COVID. But I think the world has learned a lot since then. Um, I would hope people learned a lot more about human kindness, okay, because this may not be the last pandemic. Okay, the last one they had was in 1917. And in today's society, you might hear of an epidemic, but never thought, me in a million years, I would have never thought I'd live through a pandemic. Okay.
Exactly.
Thank God now there are vaccines. But you're right. There was a lot of mental health and there was a lot of domestic violence because people couldn't
Yes.
get out. Where were they going to go? And if they
Yes.
did get out, they were afraid they were going to get the virus. So there's been a lot of organizations now that have popped up, more for domestic violence and a lot more, okay, for mental health. So hopefully that a lot of this is going to go under control. And hopefully, as we all work together, we will get things back to maybe not where they totally were, but to
Mm-hmm.
reach some sort of plateau that people can go forward.
Of
And
course.
I think that would be the best. But anyway, you have had, I mean, you've been absolutely amazing. Okay. Uh, I mean, I've had so many guests on my show, and everybody has an amazing story, but yours today really got to me. Okay. And before we close, I'll tell you something I did last week. I was walking down Atlantic Avenue, not too far from where I live, with my husband. And there's a lot of fancy restaurants and a lot of stores there. And in a corner of my eye, something caught me. And I saw this young girl talking to this woman sitting down on the ground. And normally I'll bypass something like that, but this just caught me. And I said, I have to go over there. I bet this is a homeless woman. And sure enough, it was. And she wasn't that old, very pretty. I took money out of my wallet and I said, here, sweetie, go buy dinner for yourself. Get
Mm-hmm.
something to eat. She had this cutest little teddy bear and she was hugging it. And I said to her, I said, you're going to laugh. I said, as old as I am, and I got a husband, I said, I still have a little teddy bear that I keep, which is true, keep on the side of me at night. She put this teddy bear up to me and I kind of scratched his head and she said, I sleep with mine every night. She said, and this teddy bear, she's in that cart you see next to me, which only had 4 pieces of clothing. She said, this is all I have left in the world. She says,
Wow.
my family has abandoned me since COVID. I did not know what to do. I don't think I slept that whole night. I
My
said,
God.
oh my God, in today's world, to see something like this. And she kept hugging that little teddy bear. And I said to myself, can you imagine if someone real nasty went and took that teddy bear from her? It would destroy her.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, I've said to a lot of people, if you don't know me, now you know me. But it caught me. And I said, you know what? Between seeing something like that and seeing my own family members that got COVID that I almost lost, it's made me a stronger person. And it's made me want to get back now and give back to society and
True.
change things that shouldn't be. So that was my heartwarming story for all of last week. But
Very
it's
good.
just something that, and I felt that if I gave this woman a little bit of hope and gave her some money that she could go out and have a meal. And then I did see a police officer and I said to him, I said, look, there is a 211 crisis center that you can call. They do work with the homeless. And they said, oh, we're going to try to get her a home. So hopefully I did something good. And I hope I can continue to do good things like that. And if I can follow in your footsteps, then I know that I'm doing well. And I have to say, you've made my day. You've been
Wow.
amazing. Your stories are amazing. You are a great. Caroline had told me so much about you. And when Caroline tells me about somebody, I normally can take it to the bank because she's like right on the money. But you keep inspiring. You keep doing what you're doing. This is not going to be the last conversation that you and I are going to have, okay? Because
Oh,
I'm going to be reaching out to you for a lot of other things. But I want to
yes.
thank you for being on our show today. I know there's a great time difference, but when I say make our world your runway, you have. And if any time, Shubhangi, you want to come back, you're more than welcome to come back. So again,
Yes.
this may be the first, but this is not going to be the last. So thank you. I hope you have a great day, a great weekend, and may God bless you always.
Of course. Thank you, Angela, and the platform. Truly honored and look forward for many more. Thank you.
You got it. Thank you so much. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Another wonderful and fabulous guest. Stay tuned. We're going to be back a little later on for our second guest. And as always, Make Our World Your Runway is always happy to present new and innovative ideas from so many different amazing people around the world. Thank you again for joining, and we'll see you again.